mean, you just have to again know what's out there and be willing to access the healthier options. But
Yeah.
when you've loaded your body up with unhealthy processed foods, that's what you become addicted to.
Right.
And I know this is getting off into something else, and it's probably another show, but all of that stuff alters your brain chemistry.
Mm,
Absolutely.
It makes you addicted.
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
So it's not easy, when people say just stop doing this, eliminate this, that's not an easy thing to do.
Good day and welcome to the Get Established Show. We got a great one for you today. Today's topic is You Are What You Eat Part 2, the sequel. We got some great people in the room to help us to have this discussion, and we're going to get into it in a little bit. Remember, always hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. We want to grow it for us and for you because we got some things we want to do coming down the pike. I'm going to pass it over to my brother, Mr. Raymond Shine.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Get Established Show where we're all about community awareness and building within and beyond it. All right, I'm here with my fellow brothers in arms, starting off with my man, Chiller.
Grand Risings.
All right, and the man on the board is B.I. to the double G.
In the house.
All right, and my boy, my brother, D. Jones.
Grand Risings, everyone.
All right, and we have two special guests here, and they're here to bring that funk. All right, starting off with the sensational health coach, Sonia Jones.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey,
So
babe.
excited to be here. Hey, babe.
That's so sweet.
All right, and my man, the herbalist, Dion No Flaws. Boom. What's up, my
Grand
brother?
Rising. What's going on?
All right. Okay. So like I always say, we're not going to even hold up any longer. Me shine. And here, I'm going to give it off to my brother, D. Jones.
All right, everybody. What you eat won't make you sick. So watch what you consume because these snakes who control our food are full of tricks. From plastic rice to non-nutritional sugar treats and artificially processed meats. So be careful what you put in your stomach because what you are, what you eat. Part 2.
Yeah, we are back again with part 2 of this. You are what you eat. The last time we had brought a lot of energy and we had a good assignment, but we didn't get through all the things we needed to ask. So it's a lot of information that we didn't get back to. And this time we got two guests back again. We got my sister-in-law, Sonia Jones, and we got my homeboy, Dion No Flaw Boom. So look, we're going to get into this. We're going to bring it today with some good information. So here we go. The first question is, do you think it's a misconception with the word organic? Anybody can start.
I start. I think so. You have to look at it. What is organic? What is the definition of organic? That's what we kind of have to look at. A lot of times they label food as one thing, and you have to know the true definition of that food. I guess people flock to the word organic when they see it in grocery stores, but you have to be careful of that. You have a lot of different grocery stores and a lot of different quality of food. We talked about that on the last show. So just don't assume that because it says organic, that it's good for you. I make jokes about that word all the time. You can use that word when it comes to a lot of things. So I would say that research what the word means and then think about what you're buying and where you're buying it from. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I agree with you. That research and education is definitely necessary. And I do believe that, a lot of misconceptions do exist because it's a lot of information out there and a lot of controversies, I should say, that surround organic foods or organic products. And kind of to your point, Derek, is it really organic? Am I really getting what they say I'm getting? And when you think about it, organic products are sometimes more expensive, so you're paying more money, and you definitely want to make sure that it's going to add the value that they say it's going to add. So I think, as you stated, just doing your research and knowing what to look for. If you're in a grocery store and you're looking at different produce, fruits, and vegetables, just make sure you're looking at, I think they call it the PLU, which is a price lookup number, those 4 digits that are on the barcode. And if it's a 9 in front of those numbers, then you're getting organically grown fruits and vegetables. Also, when it comes to like organic products, look for that USDA seal, because that is really like a stamp of approval to show that that particular product has gone through a very rigorous certification and verification process. And it basically tells you that at least 90% of the ingredients in this product are organic. So, as you stated, it's just more so about just educating yourself so that you are getting what they say you are getting. And honestly, if you were to talk to one group of people, they may tell you, an apple is an apple, right? If I give you 2 Granny Smith apples, both of those apples, whether they're organic or not, are going to give you the same nutritional value, right? But then you have another group of people who may say, okay, I have these 2 apples. One is organic and one is non-organic. And the one that's non-organic has been grown with pesticides. So that apple is not going to give me the same nutritional value because I'm getting pesticides. I'm ingesting pesticides when I eat this particular apple. So, that's just one example of some of the controversies that do exist around the word organic. And I think that's why those misconceptions are there. But to clear those misconceptions, education is definitely necessary.
Yeah. It also too, they actually put what you call it. They actually put out also, there's a lot of controversy behind it, definitely, because they put out that you can actually, a lot of places are paying, a lot of these corporations are paying millions of dollars to put organic on the products, and it's just the regular old thing. And they don't even have to explain, just like a lot of these companies, they don't even have to explain the ingredients. They don't have to tell you what's in it.
Yep.
So it's definitely a dangerous game that we play when we're not growing our own food.
Absolutely.
Well, Dion, let me ask you this: with the way the soil is now, I mean, how would you go about growing organic products in your backyard? Because the degree of our soil is in jeopardy right now. I mean, we don't actually have what we need in our backyard in this current moment to grow our organic fruits and vegetables.
The smartest thing that I've been seeing people do is they actually building on top of the ground. Like they're not using the actual soil. They actually elevating, coming up with, having their own dirt and all of that and doing it that way. So, but you still, I mean, the environment's so bad, it's still a long way to go, even with that process.
And I think the challenge with that too is just that, I mean, do people have the capabilities of doing something like that, growing their own? Do people have the time? People now are looking for convenience, so when you talk about growing your own foods, I mean, that sounds great. And we should all probably consider doing that based on what our foods are giving us these days. But I guess that will require some deep discussion to really think through what that would look like and how you can make that easy.
Right.
And, maybe that's a community coming together and,
I definitely think that. I definitely think that's something that we do need to do as a community. We're going to have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you got to think about, all right, there, if you have your own yard, there's a limited amount of space that you have to even, construct that type of garden to sustain you and your family, so you got to think about that as well in the process.
What's crazy? I'm growing up, and I didn't think about this until we got older. My dad pretty much owned a city block, and we had a lot of that block was taken up by a garden. And so we had a garden in the middle of a neighborhood. And, they grew, my grandfather and him worked together in that garden and developed that garden. They would give vegetables and fruits to people in the neighborhood. And as a kid, you don't see the value of that. But thinking about it now, that's unheard of to ride through a neighborhood and see half of that block in a neighborhood set up as a garden.
But I want to say something. This is wild because, like Derek said, we grew up, we had a garden. But even when we was young, we could walk down the street and you would see like a peach tree somewhere and go in somebody's yard, grab a peach, an apple tree over here. We even had a pear tree. And even when we was young, we could be out playing somewhere like touch football or field football, and we can go up to a fence and you'll see some wild grapes growing there that were green. You could eat them. It was like, what happened to all that? And then and this the crazy thing. It's cats or kids who was born in like 89 or 90. They never in their life have seen a worm in an apple, in a pear, in a peach. They if we was to tell them, look, you used to be worms in apples. Oh no, unless you go to a farmer's market or something and maybe found a real farmer who's selling stuff. Just like she was saying, pesticides. A lot of things with pesticide we are eating. And the crazy thing, I used to always think, if a worm won't eat it, why in the hell am I eating it? What I mean, if a natural creature we know won't eat it, why in the world am I eating it? And then we got other issues, even stuff like when we were talking about organic, because in my mind, organic, I'm just saying me. In my mind, organic, when I used to look at organic, I used to think it was natural. Like it was grown like natural off of regular stuff. They didn't have no GMO in it. The grapes would have seeds. Because I'm looking at organic grapes. No seeds, seedless, no organic grapes. In my mind, like, how in the world is organic? Because I'm thinking nature took place with organic. So that's why I say I get a misconception of it myself. Because when I read organic, I'm thinking, oh man, this is something straight from off the farm. This is straight, naturized. This is straight, this and that. And it's so many things that's going on, even from plaster rice. I've been learning about even meat glue, how they glue the meat back together. Just different things has been going on with food that I'm like clueless of. That when I started learning about it, I'm like, wow, so they have leftover meat that they trying to put together, and they come up with this paste called, meat glue that they stick everything back together. And they could put whatever label on it, just like they were saying, organic, and you looking at this is real natural stuff, but it's something that's been put together and it's not even real.
But not only that meat glue, they're putting phosphorus in the meat also to make sure that it looks a certain way, and that's crazy. Right. Like you don't want too much phosphorus in your body. So and that's insane. They're doing all this to make sure that we're attracted to buying that product.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and then like even with the meats, they have certain lights, and then I think like Dion was saying, if the meat start turning like a certain color, they'll take blood and re-dip the meat in the blood to make it look fresh, and it's all this crazy. And then I remember I was looking at salmon, I'm like, oh, it looked nice and pink, but then you're reading on it, it has some type dye or something in it, and I'm like, what in the world? This ain't natural pink. Salmon, they dyed the salmon. It's like, if you're not really reading and you just grabbing and just opening a packet, and it's crazy. If you sit there and start reading a lot of stuff, then you'll be tripping out. Because I was like, if you can't read it, don't eat it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you can't pronounce these words, that's what people used to say. If you can't read it, don't eat it. If you can't read and you done been to school and they got all these different terminology of words that you never heard of and don't have no definition meaning of these funny big words. If you can't read it, don't eat it. I mean, that's common sense, but we don't do that. We are like, we just look at it and it just say, for instance, it'll say like hamburger. But you'll read it got this and got that and this come up and all that. You just looking at it just ground up hamburger, but it's 100 things in it that we don't even know what it is. So it's like, that's one illusion I think we have on stuff. But I mean, Ray, I know Big ain't saying that. You got something to share on that, Big?
I mean, I'm just taking it in. I was, agreeing with you too about, I know they said something about the meat paste, but I mean, the meat glue, but it's just so many things that they do. And you were talking about earlier about the worm in the apple. I mean, my thing is, it makes me wonder, did they initially try to sway from organic to make things easier in processing, like to avoid the pests and the things being involved, because you get apples home with worms in them. I mean, you really can't eat them. I mean,
hey, we used to eat them. Cut that worm out, boy. Go ahead, eat that.
I mean, it's going back to that thing where we like we were talking about development. Like excuse me, when you were talking about the apple tree in the backyard and stuff like that, that you don't see that stuff no more because there's been so much development of the land to build houses, shopping centers and all that stuff like that. So, businesses and whatnot. So they cut down those trees and stuff that you see growing wild around there, and then all that new stuff is developed, and so you don't get that stuff no more. You don't see that. That's why you don't see that stuff.
But also when they build these developments, the first thing they do is come in and scrape the top soil. All the good soil, they take it from the land and they go resell that. So what you get is like just rock and dirt, and that has to be redeveloped because it's all America is all about profit, period. That's just it's just all about profit, like what's gonna make the money. And if they know that I gotta buy this land for this price and that topsoil is good, they're gonna take that and move that, and anything else they can get out of it, they're gonna do. That's why the lots are smaller, and then people, like Sonya was saying earlier about convenience is a factor. It'd be great if we were able, as a community, as a Black community, to be able to support, if we had some local, I don't even know if I would call it a farmer's market, but an actual produce store that we know that is developing and growing fresh, organic herbs, vegetables, fruits and vegetables. But that's something that we have to be able to come and support financially and continually support it financially, meaning that even when they have a bad crop, we have to find a way to support it, because a bad crop can take a business out, and we have to understand that, if they come to support us, we have to support them, even if we can't buy something at that moment because they had a bad crop. So, when we talk about these instances of trying to do better from a financial standpoint, a health standpoint, and a community standpoint, there's always multiple factors, and finance is always underlying. We in America, finance is always the underlying issue, and we have to understand that.
All right. I'm going to move to the second question. The second question is, do you feel that some vegan foods is unhealthy?
French fries.
So I got a joke. I bowl. Everybody knows that I bowl. And I bowl with this Rastafarian. And I walked in, and Rastafarian, they pretty much eat, a lot of them are vegan. Let me just put it that way. So I walk in, and he's eating a bag of Lay's potato chips. So I say to him, I said, you are a vegan? He said, yeah. I said, you do realize you eat Lay's potato chips? He was like, this is vegan. I said, wow, I never knew Lay's potato chips were vegan. I said, let's look at what's in them. So when he looked at the ingredients, he started scratching his head. He was like, well, I don't know what this is. I said, exactly.
It's funny you said that. I got these chips. I don't think they're vegan, but they're called pop chips. It is made out of potatoes, but they're not fried. I think they boil them. But they're delicious. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. When we took a trip to DC and met Sonya and Derek up there, and we went to Whole Foods, my first Whole Foods experience. And she, I told her, at that time I really won't feeling none of that stuff because I was like, look, I like the way things taste.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Still
that.
do.
He introduced me to some snacks that were healthy and they taste good. That was amazing to me because, as a kid, you look at, the stuff that's good for you don't taste good. So I was impressed. And then even like some of the, like the shots, the drink shots, not alcohol.
Oh yeah.
The healthy shots from the juice bar. I mean, that stuff really impressed me. And when you fill your body with those certain things, it's like almost immediately you feel a difference because you got so much junk in your body. Well, at least I got some junk in my body.
Yeah.
So thank you for
that transparent moment, Big.
Yeah, it's I know as far as with me, I see it's definitely like it's scary when it comes to health as far as that, because you get so many people that say, "Oh yeah, I'm vegan, yeah, I'm plant based," and they sicker than the people that eat meat. Because I mean, what they consuming in a lot of them products is full of soy, it's full of wheat gluten. The sodium is ridiculous in a lot of that stuff. Like the ingredients we was talking about, you got a million ingredients, and it tastes good and all that stuff. You know, all of these little meatless burgers and products and stuff, but a lot of that stuff it's still is grown in a lab. It still didn't come from nature. And so they might do a good job as far as the taste and the texture of it, but it's still unhealthy. So you still back to square one with that. I mean, we just need to get back to eating fresh foods, real food that nature made.
That's
I
good.
agree.
I was gonna say, I know. Go ahead, son.
No, I didn't really have a whole lot to add other than, anytime I hear vegan, I'm always like, okay, vegan doesn't equate to healthy. Period.
Okay.
Vegan does not equate to healthy because yes, there are a lot of highly processed vegan foods, and Dion mentioned the meats, and some people might argue that a grass fed a grass fed burger is better than the plant based meats that they have, because those plant based meats have so many chemical additives. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. I mean, I've looked up some of the ingredients, just Googled them just to see like, what is this? And it's not food, it's just chemicals. So I mean, you laughing. What
It
you
is
laughing
true.
at? But it's true.
I mean, I'm laughing because you're telling the truth. What I'm saying is, I be trying to process in my mind. God, man, this Impossible Burger tastes like a Whopper. What in the world did they
No,
do to
why?
make this?
Yeah.
It tastes like a piece of meat, because you looking at, they putting some stuff in this that's like, it doesn't even taste like no vegetable I know of, or anything I done consumed off the ground growing up, from squash to potatoes to corn to anything out there, okra, all this stuff. What type of vegetables did they use to make this taste like a Whopper? You know what I'm saying? So I'm tripping. So it's like, I get it 100, because it's like, I've started learning that, people were talking about soy. So they were like, stay away from soy. And I used to hear people like all the time, because when you say you eat a certain way, it's a challenge, because they start coming at you like a tiger. You gotta eat meat. You gotta boom. Like, they hit you like, man, look, if I didn't work hard to get to this level of not eating meat, why? It's like, to me, when somebody come to me, and I'm always be humorous. When anybody who come to me like that, it's like I done stopped smoking crack. And then you come back, you gotta smoke crack, you gotta smoke. And I'm like, God dang, I've been clean for God dang it 5 to 10 years, and you telling me I gotta go back where I just struggle to get out of, to go back and smoke some more crack. And I'm like, yo, stop that. When somebody done work hard to better their life, even though you can't see it, even though you don't realize they might have been having high blood pressure, they might have had a high cholesterol, they might have had whatever element they had, they don't work to get out of that situation, and then you go back to throwing back in that bad situation. You gotta get protein. And back again on this protein thing. I didn't know our meats and stuff are now called protein. I thought a fish was a fish, a chicken was a chicken, a hamburger is a hamburger. But anywhere you go, what type of protein you want? Excuse me? Protein. What type of protein? When y'all start calling fish and chicken everything your protein, I mean, we done went from, in the 80s, I ain't never went to McDonald's and said, do you want a protein burger? Which one? Meat protein or the happy protein? Or you go the chicken? I go to Chicken Fried Chicken. Did you want a leg protein or a wing protein? Why is everything got to be protein? I mean, I get crazy like this because it's hysterical to me, and it's funny because we have so many people coming at us in all this type ways. But I like I said, I really understand that, because I get attacked all the time. I used to get attacked. I don't now. Some people are now starting to realize some of the food is kind of making us feel a certain way. And
Yeah.
like I said, all this is up here trying to give us our views and our opinions on certain things we experience as we had transitioned away from a certain life. And like I said, I'm not perfect. Don't think I'm 100 straight, just nothing but raw vegetables and fish, I still eat certain things, but I'm working on myself. I'm working. And for me to be up here telling you is because I want to see other people who may be struggling with certain issues or have high I got diabetes or high cholesterol or whatever something is affecting in their body. I want you to know its ultimate ways. Other than taking that medicine like a slave for the rest of your life, you can change certain things to make you, to live with. I ain't gonna talk a hole in everybody's head. Raymond, you got something to say, or somebody else? Or big.
You go ahead.
Because I'm honestly, before Raymond start, because y'all kind of went into my second question. So I'm just gonna throw it out there so we can keep going. The second question was, do you think they promote food that's not nutritional for their profit instead of being healthy for us? Because that kind of went into
that goes without question, man. Because like we're going back to the business. All these corporations are into making money. You can't make money if you're not promoting a product to be able to be sold to the consumer. So there's no way that they're gonna say, okay, well, hey, we're gonna say we're not gonna put this in there, we're not gonna put that in there, and then they know that that's gonna be something that a consumer, especially if they are health conscious, is gonna say, no, I don't want that. So they're not gonna deal with that. So in order for them to do that, they have to do that. I mean, we know that it's not right, but they have to do that in order to be able to sell and be able to be in business. That's just the way it is.
So like Big said earlier, what the United States is ran off of profit. So let me ask you this. Will a used car and sell you a car that doesn't run? Absolutely. If you're willing to buy it, they're going to sell it to you. So what makes you think that they won't sell you food that's not good for you? Oh, they're going to have the little people at the little stands when you go in the grocery store. Try this.
Yeah.
Eat this. They have little recipes and they're cooking it up in the store and it smells so good. And they have it on sale that day. Buy this. They got all these products ready for you to buy, knowing damn well that they're killing you slowly. That's all they're doing is they killing you slowly.
Yeah, but that's not their concern, though. They're not concerned about that. I mean, it's up to us to make the choices about what we, eat. They can't make us buy anything. They can't make us eat anything. Ultimately, it's our choices, and the bad things are typically what's chosen. And I'll tell you why. So to answer the question is, I do absolutely believe that the food industry uses promotion and advertising to normalize that it's okay to eat highly processed foods. Chris, when you mentioned the fruit trees and things like that, and what happened to that, the food industry happened to that, and that's because let's just think about it. The bad stuff is everywhere, right? Everywhere you go. If you going from Atlanta to Florida, and I'm just using this as an example, look at every other billboard. What do you see? McDonald's, Popeyes, get off on this exit. You don't see anything about, healthy options. And I'm just saying, like, Arden's Garden, I'm on my phone trying to search to see if I can find like healthy options as we're traveling from, out of town. And those options just rarely exist. And if they do exist, they're not being advertised. Even when you think about schools, and you think about your work environment, if they have vending machines, what are you going to find in the vending machines?
Junk.
Yeah.
Unhealthy options. You go to a baseball game, you go to a football game, what are you going to find? Unhealthy options. You go in a grocery store. Grocery store sells what? 30,000 to 40,000 items, right? The majority of those items are highly processed. So basically it's in your face everywhere you go. So it becomes easy and convenient to make the poor choices because that's what they're putting in your face all the time. So
yeah.
The food industry is the issue.
Exactly.
But we have to do our research. And I know we keep saying that, but it's important, having those conversations and just bringing awareness to things like this. And I think people do know, because you hear it a lot more now in 2021 than you probably have more so in the past, that we know what we should and should not be eating. I think we do know, but again, people, it's about convenience and it's about what's easy and not necessarily what's going to make me feel better. So,
Right.
But let me speak up for the fat people in the so
oh gosh,
everybody don't know because what happens, we get into these routines.
yes,
Now, I know it's not an excuse for me. I know I should eat some things better, and I do. I eat better at different times, but it's about price point because the things that are good for you cost more, and sometimes people can't. It's not in their budget.
Yeah, it's
I'm telling you. I mean, if you got a family, you're trying to feed people, and you got to stretch the money. I mean, you're trying to figure out, hey, the options. And people buying a bunch of canned food that ain't necessarily good for you. You don't know how long that stuff been in the can, even though they say it's okay, but whatever.
Yeah, but you got to look at it too. That's normally the biggest excuse. I hear that all the time with people. Eating healthy is expensive, but actually, like what Derek was talking about in the last show, eating in the produce outside of the main aisles, that's not expensive at all until you get to the meats. But when you wear the cucumber 69 cent, 49 cent, tomatoes not high. Like you got all of your vegetables and fruit, they're not high. Even the organic stuff not high compared to paying $9 for 3 pork chops.
you're right.
I mean, it's just, I think that's a big misconception. And it's really to keep you away from nature's food.
Big gonna hit that ding.
Hit that, but I'm still going. I'm still.
Well, and Big, let me just say this also, and I talked about this on the last show too. Actually, me and the wife were shopping at like the grocery stores, and we decided to start shopping at the Cabs Farmers Market, where we could get fresh grown produce and fruits. And wasn't our grocery bill cut in half?
Bill cut in half.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you just have to again know what's out there and be willing to access the healthier options. But when you've loaded your body up with unhealthy processed foods, that's what you become addicted to.
Right.
And I know this is getting off into something else, and it's probably another show, but all of that stuff alters your brain chemistry.
Absolutely.
It makes you addicted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not easy, when people say just stop doing this, eliminate this, that's not an easy thing to do. I've worked with people now, with in regards to like behavior change. I'm a health coach, but helping them change their mindset when it comes to foods, because that is not easy to do. That is a very difficult thing for them if they have been used to that lifestyle for 30 years. And now you're telling me I need to stop eating meat. Now you're telling me I need to stop eating, cookies and cakes and pies. Like that stuff tastes good to me. I don't want a cucumber. I don't want a tomato.
Right.
They want what tastes good to them because because their mind is telling them, their altered brain chemistry is telling them to migrate towards that, to go towards that. So it's a lot.
I got a question.
And I get it. Go ahead.
I was going to ask on something on because like when she was saying addicted to the brain and stuff like that, like sugar, sugar is very addictive, and we had that conversation on sugar as well. The sugar can cause dementia, Alzheimer's, and different stuff like that. And I was like going to ask, do you think they intentionally have put these certain substance in the meats and all this stuff? Because I know it's more than just the meats. It's certain chemicals that they are putting in it for us to have, like, even like I was saying one time when I didn't eat a certain thing and I would get hungry, I used to get the jitters. And I had to eat something for the jitters to go away. So when I start eating certain stuff, I didn't have jitters. I would just get either tired or weak and I needed to eat. But at one time, because whatever they had in it, it used to give me jitters. Do you think they put the chemicals in it so it makes it hard for us to stop eating certain meats and stuff like that? So we got to run back to them?
Yeah.
Yep.
Why do dope dealers sell
Profit,
drugs?
they want money.
Yeah. Yep.
Same
thing. Yep.
It's just like, for example, if you like pizza, it's gonna be something in that sauce that's gonna keep calling you. And then they changed it up so that they got the white sauce and now they got the red sauce. So if the red sauce didn't work on you, guess what? The white sauce gonna work on you. Guess what? If that didn't work, then those pineapples, it's gonna be something in those pineapples in that Hawaiian pizza that people love. So, it's like everywhere you walk it's a minefield. Like going to the grocery store sometimes it's a minefield, or trying to eat healthy, because my question is, you got people like, I'm a carnivore, I eat meat. I try to reduce my amount of I almost eliminated pork. You know what I'm saying? Like altogether, even though pork
almost
chop, pork chop.
I ain't gonna
I mean, people could say, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I had a friend told me, he's like, look, I'm not gonna eat no more pork, no pork, and he getting pepperoni pizza. Didn't even think about it.
that pepperoni was hard to chill off.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like these things that we go through, they rename things, different things, and sometimes you're not even cognizant because you're so used to doing this thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I mean, I bet if you take a poll right now of 100 people and you ask them, what is pepperoni made of? They were like, pepperoni?
you know they got turkey pepperoni too now.
Well, see, you got all these different options, but that's not what's being advertised. Nobody advertising turkey pepperoni.
I think that
excuse me, 1 second here. When you go to like Cracker Barrel or something like that, they got the turkey options, but they're selling the pork options first.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing with that, man, this one thing people don't want to face, but everybody got them. Parasites. That's the biggest, like, it's not even you most of the time, especially when it comes to this sugar and all this stuff. Like, it's not you. It's these parasites that's in your body that's telling you what they want to eat. They telling you, go get that honey bun over there. Go get this piece of cake. Like, it's not even you. And a lot of people can't help it. That's why I recommend people, like, when you're making a transition or any kind of lifestyle change as far as food, do a parasite cleanse before you start that new lifestyle. Get that old stuff out.
Parasite and yeast.
Yes.
Candida.
Yeah. Candida. Yeast. That's a big thing. And if you really like dig deep into like health and disease, you will see and you will find that those things are really the root of chronic illnesses.
Absolutely.
And again, I know that's like another show.
No, this show. It's this show. It ain't another show. It's this show.
We can go in so many different directions.
And that's why I make it broad for to go in this direction. Anything would change the health. I know Derek wanted to say something earlier, and he didn't get off.
I was just going to build off what my wife was saying. Just behavior. Our oldest daughter, when she was born, I didn't give her like sugar. I mean, we and she wasn't on regular milk either. So she didn't get that. We only gave her like vegetables and stuff. Like, I was trying like not to make sure she was addicted to sugar. And right now she won't eat cookies, cakes, ice cream. She doesn't eat any of that. And that behavior started when she was young. Now, I'm not saying that she eats totally healthy, because she doesn't. She could work on some things. But as far as the ice cream and cake aspect of it, because she never had it she didn't have it in those first few years, she won't touch it now. So it's just interesting that it is behavior. It is something that you could start off. You could start your kids off eating correctly now. So, I mean, and it can become a lifestyle for them.
I'm going to tell you, this is some real talk, and I'm going to get deep on that. Me, and I know Derek, a lot of people might not know, some people do know, that when we was born, we were born, what was with caffeine babies? Derek?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we were born, because we was born caffeine, we would say caffeine babies. I know when my mom was pregnant with me, I think she drank a 12-pack a day, and I think she did the same thing with Derek. So it's like, when we was born, we was real hype, active. And for the first couple of years, and I think Derek was the same way, I couldn't eat no candy. We couldn't have no sodas. We couldn't have none of that when other kids could have candy. So for a lot of years, I didn't have candy my grandma would, sanction little candies to me on like Halloweens and stuff. But I didn't for years because of the situation of us born with her drinking the sodas like that. And then we was like real hyperactive because I was like Speedy Gonzales from 2. And she would just try to make me do stuff to calm me, slow me down because I was so fast and talking real quick. Like that and everything. And the crazy thing that she would like make me do stuff all day. So I would tire out and go to sleep like that because I'll be so hyperactive when I get up. Because, I guess the whole time she was pregnant, drinking a 12-pack of sodas every day. And back then, you got to realize this is in the 70s. The sodas were way stronger. It might even still had cocaine in it back then. So, because they did have cocaine and people don't know, and Coca-Cola way back then. But just to say, I was real hyper, me and him. And I remember Derek had the same issues.
Yeah, but to the audience out there, he has calmed down. I know he still looks like he's hyper, but he actually has calmed down. So you can only imagine what he used to be like.
Hey, but Ray, had anything to share?
No, I just, you can just go ahead.
So everybody, we cool like where we at on that?
I got a question.
What's that?
I want to know about some meat we can eat. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, there's people out here watching.
Look, I'm gonna tell you this. It's a lot of people on YouTube who are doing vegan recipes and showing people how to take natural foods and what to put in them to make their own vegan type of stuff. And just like Dion turned me on to a young lady, last week or so. She had some hella for chicken wings.
Oh yeah,
and chicken sandwich and crab cake, and it was vegan. And when I say you eat a couple of them and you were full. And it shocked me because he called me out like, man, I got to try this. I got to try this today. And I ordered it, and boom, she had like, I think a teriyaki type style one, and she had like she made her own type, I think, teriyaki stuff, and she made it like a hot one, and it was good.
Shout out to Naomi, vegan eats. Naomi, vegan eats.
That's what's up.
Big. I would say too. I don't know if you were joking, but if you were serious, about transitioning at some point, I would definitely say that I try to start with a clean slate, to what Dion mentioned, do a cleanse, do a detox, get as much of the bad stuff out, so that you can start with a clean slate, because that would probably make it a lot easier for you to make that transition.
Yeah.
Okay, but can somebody answer my question about this meat?
What's the question?
We're gonna get to.
Hey, look. You just want to go around what she telling you need to do. Start off with a clean slate.
I understand that. I asked the question.
What's the question?
Alternate meat. He wants to go into an alternate meat. I mean, I said,
no, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I know the grass fed is supposed to be good, to eat. Is that, and I know that free range versus farm raised or whatever. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean,
so if you want to continue to eat meat,
so we said just take meat off the table. We don't want to do no meat.
I'm not saying that, because what I don't do is tell people what choices they need to make, because I think ultimately people have to do what's best for them. You have to do what you feel serves you well. Whatever you feel leaves you feeling healthy, that's the route and the path I suggest that you take. So I am not the person that's going to say you should do this or you should do that, because what it takes to heal our bodies is going to look different, because we are all different. So if you feel that going to grass-fed beef as opposed to eating, meat that's not, is how you want to start, then do that, because that's a step that's a step towards change. That's a step towards change. That means your mind is thinking like, okay, I do want to make some change happen. How that looks for me, let me work through that. So if you have to transition to the grass-fed beef and the free range and organic meats, then do that. Because ultimately you're going to have to gravitate to what feels good to you. Because if you transition to vegan and you start eating like that and you don't like it, it's not sustainable. It's not going to last. And you'll be right back where you are now. So my suggestion is just transition slowly and do the grass-fed beef if that's what you feel like you want to start with.
But I'm gonna say, look, I'm gonna say this. I mean, go ahead, Derek, but I'm gonna say this. Derek answered the question last time, so Big trying to be funny. He told him about the Kobe. Got massaged and got pedicures and got the feet done and hubs done. He thought about how they massage and gave them grass last time. The Kobe beef, and if you want another beef, there's another one called bison. Bison's are supposed to be a good grain of meat, from what I understood. It's supposed to be the best grain of meat that you can find, other than what the other one's getting a pedicure and massage down and all that good stuff, and they watching TV all day, stress free.
Hey, the Good Established community and family, I'm gonna need y'all to step up and tell them to stop picking on me.
Hey, go ahead, Dirk. I ain't mean to cut you out there. Go ahead.
Nah. I was just shouting out the wife. Another vegan person that I follow that does very good vegan recipes is Tabitha Brown. She does really well. I like a lot of her recipes. But I actually I have an in-house chef. So, I had to give a shout out to Miss Sonia Jones, because she gets down on those recipes, man. And I'm gonna plug Tip Top Health. Maybe some of those recipes will be coming to tip-top-health.com.
Yes,
I'm sorry. Soon.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
Deanna, y'all call out, y'all was shouting out y'all website. Shout out right real quick. Shout out both when you and Deanna shout out y'all websites again.
All right. Oh, okay. So Tip Top Health. The website is www.tiptop-health.com.
And you can find me on Facebook, Restore Your Health LLC. Currently working on a website now. That's like more of my son lane. He good at that, so I'm gonna let him handle that. But also you can email me at restoreyourhealthllc@gmail.com, especially for something that's you don't want to put on social media. So a lot of my more serious questions and things like that, I definitely get them up there.
We go to the next question. The next question is, do you think what we put on our skin plays a big part on our health?
Absolutely.
This my favorite. That's my favorite topic right
here.
What Big just said. Like I tell people, I remember being in school and they used to ask us that, and my whole time I was in school when I was little, they told us that the heart was the biggest organ. Wow. And that is so wrong. Like the skin is so important. It's definitely the biggest organ. And what you facing right now, or what we facing as a nation, is that we're dealing with people where their kidneys not filtering. They constipated everywhere. They liver backed up, they gut backed up, everything is backed up, nothing is filtering. So that's when that third kidney come into play, which is your skin. So that's why you see people with bad skin, all kind of outbreaks and all that. That's literally waste that's trying to come through your skin, because this is like, I'm gonna get out somehow. So this is what this is really what you get. So you have to, like, I don't want to beat up on y'all, but our women, I know y'all love to smell good, but a lot of those lotions and all those creams and the perfume, even the men with the cologne, like we spraying it right on our neck, and you spraying stuff right on your skin and all of that, and it's nothing but chemicals. When you look at, it's the same thing with the food. When you look on the back of that bottle, from all of these different places. When you look at these high brand, low brand, no matter what it is, when you look on the back of it, you see yellow 5, red 40. You see all these, it's nothing but chemicals.
Exactly.
And
I
one thing I
agree.
have, I'm sorry.
And go ahead, Big. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. You wearing the red hat.
You know what? I love my red hat, by the way.
I love it too. I really do.
So just kind of piggyback off of what Dion just said, the chemicals that we are putting on our skin. So I know the topic of this show is you are what you eat, right? But you are what you put on your skin. You are what you do to your body. If you look at where you are in your life right now when it comes to your health, it's a direct reflection of the choices that you make every day. So yes, what you're putting on your skin is extremely important because, as he said, those toxins are being released into your bloodstream. They get absorbed by your liver immediately.
Yep.
Immediately. So, and think about it. It's not just you got all the toxins coming from the skin products or hair products, or you have all the toxins coming from the foods that you eat. You have toxins coming from the environment. So basically, it's almost like we're in toxic overload. We're in toxic overload because of what we are consuming or breathing in every single day. And that becomes a problem because when your body gets overloaded with toxins and can no longer handle all that's coming in, your body begins to accommodate those toxins. And when your body starts to accommodate those toxins, now we have a problem because that's when disease and chronic illnesses start to show up. And the only way to really, counteract those toxins is a massive amount of nutrients. A massive amount of nutrients. And we're not getting a massive amount of nutrients. Even if you eat clean, and I eat as clean as I possibly can, but I can tell you, I don't get all the nutrients that I need every single day. That would take a whole lot of fruits and vegetables on a daily basis because you have to have a wide variety to make sure that you're getting all the vitamins and the minerals that you need. So it takes a lot to really combat all those toxins that we're getting in, that we're getting into our bodies every single day. And that's really what it boils down to, the toxins and the products that we're using. I know I'll just throw this out. When I started really like diving deep into just a healthy lifestyle, I started with food, of course, but then I really got into like, okay, what am I putting on my skin and how is this impacting my health as well? So I started doing things like I changed out, like we have shower filters, just making sure that the water that we're getting on our skins is good. We also, it was one thing I can't remember. Oh, a website that I always go to. It's called EWG. It's the Environmental Working Group, but they have amazing information when it comes to the products like deodorants, lotions, shampoos, conditioners. Just do the research, because if you go to their website, you can type in a certain product and that particular group will actually tell you the toxic overload or the amount of chemicals that are found in those particular products. So it'll tell you like, what's the risk of you getting cancer if you use this
shout that
product.
website out one more time.
Yeah.
It's the Environmental Working Group. I think it's like www.ewg.org, I believe. But it's really great information. It's just another tool that you can use to just research and just figure out the best products to use that don't contain, or I guess I won't say don't contain, but just contain as minimal as amount of chemicals as possible. So.
Yeah.
But for me, I use coconut oil,
Yeah.
I don't use anything on my skin other than like coconut oil, almond oil, things like that. It has to be things that's going to nurture me in every way possible. So
yeah.
And let me just add to that. I know we have a growing epidemic in the community with women getting breast cancer. And little things that we don't think about, like my wife and Dion said, things that we put on our skin. I would advise you to look at the deodorants that you're using.
Yes, sir.
And Derek,
Yeah.
I want you to finish, but we also need to get into these women's putting these perms in their hair. But continue.
No, that's all I had to say.
Continue,
I
Derek.
just
Well,
would I
I
would
think a
just
lot
look
of
at it.
women,
Oh, I thought you were gonna go in on, because I mean, that's a chemical. I wanted one of y'all at least to talk about that. You know, that the women's putting perms in their hair, the damages that it does to their hair, as well as it dissolves in their skin. And I can't say that it's a fact, but I have heard a number of people claim, because a lot of black women use perms, that this is something that cause what, fibroids.
Fibroid.
I'm
Yeah.
not. I can't be accurate. I can't be accurate, but I have heard a lot of people who do studies have
Yeah.
mentioned that why a lot of black women who got fibroids is because they use the perms. And like
Yeah.
I say, I'm just repeating what I heard. No, I just, if you feel like this might got some issues and you got that, please maybe do some research and check on your own. But I have been hearing this for a while.
Yeah.
and that could possibly be true. I
Yeah.
mean, I could see that. I mean, because
Yeah.
again, it's chemicals.
Yeah.
It's
And
chemicals that you put on your scalp. So it's being absorbed into
and
your
it pays to look good. They go through
it
some
does.
some
It
things to
does,
look good.
but it
And
comes
just
with a
like
cost.
and just yeah, and just like last time, I had mentioned about toothpaste, and I was just talking about the sugar, but we don't even talk about the fluoride. So many people think fluoride is really helping their teeth, and don't even know the effect the fluoride really does to their body. And that's another misconception that people need to do research and study, because fluoride was tested in a time where a lot of us be talking about when we read about the Holocaust, but we don't understand that they take that same issue of fluoride and brought it over here to do the same thing on the people in this country. And I'm just gonna come out and say it. And Raymond, if it is in the fit here, they dumbing you down. Fluoride dumbing you down, it has a lot of issues. Fluoride, it plays a part in your thinking ability, and also they say fluoride is a cause of dementia and Alzheimer's and other elements. So this is something that it need to probably be looked up as well. And like they were saying, deodorants, and like even under your arm, this is what we call one of the lymphatic systems
Yeah.
that
One of your
that
lymph
detox of
notes.
your body.
Yeah. Your lymph node.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where toxins come out. When you use a lot of the deodorant, you clog up yourself so you cannot filter out detoxin
Yeah.
your body. So
Yeah.
let's get that understood too. When you're using deodorant, sometimes it might be good when you by yourself. I know I think my internet breaking up because it says unstable. But sometimes when you by yourself, it's good to be musty for a while because toxins are coming out. So,
Well,
they tell you not to smell good in front of
let me
nobody.
just say this, man.
Sometimes get some of that. But I'm gonna say this: as you start eating better, I'm gonna
Right.
let Derek go out there. As you start eating better, you don't have a lot of smells coming out your body like that.
Right.
Honestly, because
Absolutely.
you got a lot
very
of
true.
the junk out your body. A lot of misconception is, oh, you're gonna be musty. No, I like when I used to be musty. I can tell you once I start eating, I'm like, hey, I ain't put no. I don't have that issue because I ain't got a lot of stuff coming out my body. But go ahead.
Well, one thing I want to revisit one thing, but I'll say this about what you just said. You can use a lime. A lime will help with the odor
Yeah.
under your arm while you're
Yep.
going through that. But I want to go back to the hair real quick, because we have a lot of young women that are doing the weave and the quick weave and stuff. The glue that they actually use for some of this quick weave is very toxic, and you want to pay attention to that also. I know you want to look good, and nothing's wrong with looking good, but you want to be careful about what you do in the process of trying to look good. Acrylic nails, a lot of women take those acrylic nails off and look at your nail bed after those nails come off. You have young women that you see in their late 20s and early 30s that are balding because of the weave that they put in their head, and their hair won't regrow. Now they don't have a hairline. So, and I know you want to look good, but at what price
Mm.
do you want to look good? Do you want to sacrifice your health to look good, because ultimately you're going to look bad at the end of the day because you're not healthy. You're going through all these different health issues because of what you've done to your body. So do you want to look good now, or do you want to look good and sustain now and later? That's the question you need to ask yourself.
I think it's difficult for people in general, not just women, but people in general, to make the connection between the products they're using and how that's negatively impacting their bodies, because you don't see like immediate results from it. You know, if I put something on my body and it causes a burn, then I'm going to know like, ooh, I don't need to use that. But if I put something on my body and it's absorbing into my skin and it's burning my cells, then I don't feel that. I just may, wake up the next day with a headache, but I don't make the connection that it's from the products that, I'm using. So, I think it's going to take helping people understand, number one, like how is this really impacting me? I know when I was dealing with my illness several years ago, I had a heavy metal test done. I mean, I see a holistic doctor, so that's just like their mindset. That's their philosophy when it comes to healing the body. Just getting to the root of the issues, not focusing on symptoms and disease.
Right.
So we did some heavy metal testing, and I had like lead, mercury. I mean, I had silver fillings in my mouth. So I went through this process where I had to get things like that removed. But had I not, actually looked at those numbers to see where they were, and had her basically sharing with me how that was really impacting me, I can't tell you, what direction I would have taken as far as, the products that I was using. But at that point, I changed everything up. So
Also, like the mental, like when y'all were just talking about the hair, like a lot of these wigs and all that, like where is it coming from? Like nobody's thinking about the mental. It goes back to like the animals. It's like nobody's thinking about the mental trauma that wherever this hair came from. It could have been a little girl that was forced to get her hair cut off. And so you taking on these, you putting this wig on your head, you don't know why you acting crazy. You don't know why you always mad. Like, so it's a whole lot of things. It's a mental connection to all of that.
All right, I'm gonna move to the next question so we can go ahead. It says, do you think herbs could be a good source for helping our bodies?
Well, absolutely, because it's natural. I mean, we're going back to something that's natural, something that comes from the earth. That if you look in the Bible, or you look in different books, the earth should give you everything that you need. I
Yep.
mean, you talked about nature. And let me just say this. I had a conversation with a gentleman about 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about like going back to the primitive man, the caveman, let's just say caveman. And he was just talking about their diet, what their diet consists of. He said, yeah, they would eat meats, but he said it was so hard to hunt and catch like meat back then because of the tools they used, that it might be months before they actually have meat. They would eat a lot of vegetables, and they were lean, and they were healthy, and they lived a lot longer back in those days. And they would eat meat, but it might be 3 times a year that they actually have fish, or actually have deer, or actually have whatever they were catching. So, I mean, you just have to look at that. Like they said, the land gives you everything you need. So when you talk about herbs, absolutely, herbs can be a source of health in my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
I've been through some things, and versus taking medicine, I took herbs, and it brought me through it. And I felt a lot better at the end of the day. And I didn't feel like I had a crutch, like I had to take this medicine that was prescribed or over the counter every time I dealt with these symptoms, because the symptoms were gone. I didn't have to deal with it anymore. Versus
Yeah.
them coming back and I'm putting a band-aid on the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I say that, yeah, I agree with you that herbal supplements are a good source of healing, but I also believe that they have to be used in conjunction with other habits. Herbal supplements are not a magic bullet, right?
Right.
If you taking herbal supplements, but your diet is poor, you have a sedentary lifestyle, how much value will those supplements add? That's why you hear people say sometimes, well, this isn't really working for me. Well,
Right.
it's not working for you because you still eating
Yeah.
poorly.
Yeah.
Choices are not lining up with the herbal supplements. And one thing we have to be mindful of is that herbal supplements are just that. They are supplements. They are designed to fill in the gaps. They
Right.
aren't designed as a fix. So it's something that you're doing in addition to what you're already doing. So if I'm already practicing good habits and then I add in these herbal supplements to help fill in those gaps, then that's just gonna increase my health. It's going to just add more value and make me feel better. Also, when you talk about herbal supplements, I think we also need to be mindful of the quality of supplements, right? All supplements are not created equal.
Yeah.
And you really need to be careful and do your research. Again, there's that word, it's key. Educate yourself, do your research, know your source, know where they're getting it from. If you ask for that paperwork, ask for the paperwork, because you need to know that what you're getting is a high quality product, because the high quality supplements are the ones that's going to really do what they're designed to do. So you just need to think about things like that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with both. Like, and herbs is, like I said, herbs is for the healing of the nation. It's so I mean, and it's a preventative thing, because that's my number one thing. As soon as I get up, like, I consume sea moss, I consume, iron supplements that I put together. So just different herbs, just to add to your everyday routine. It definitely prevents you won't be getting colds and sit here worrying about, I remember get sick, there's a pandemic going on. Like, you don't even think like that, because you already preparing yourself every day. And like you said, with the food also, but just with the herbs part, as soon as you get up and you drink that glass of water or whatever, like, you already consuming your herbs, you consuming your natural teas. So, like, when you're doing that, you already putting your body in a state to where disease not even gonna come after you, and you eating these fresh foods and all of that. So you don't have to worry about that. But definitely herbs is for the healing of the nation. Like, and I tell people, it's that and the diet does go together. Like, when they telling you got cancer and all of these elements, what they're not telling these people is that they can't reverse it with the same lifestyle. And that, I think that's so disheartening when you're telling somebody, I want to put you on chemo, I want to put you on radiation a couple times a week, but you're not telling them they can't eat this chicken and macaroni and barbecue. Like, you ain't telling them that, and that's very disheartening, because they don't know. I mean, the average person, they don't know. Like, I just had a a gentleman, and he was in tears talking about his wife, who's like in stage 3. And that was the first thing I asked. I said, well, what does she eat? He said, well, the normal. She eat steak and shrimp and fish. And I'm like, damn. I mean, it just blew my mind, because I'm like, her doctor didn't tell her she had to eat different. Like, nah. So that's the kind of stuff we up against. But just going back to the herbs is definitely where it's at for me.
I want to say this real quick. What both of y'all saying is like, people need to hear. And at one time, I would say, went to a doctor because I was having breathing problems, and I might have said this before, that I couldn't, when I laid down, I felt like somebody was sitting on my chest, and the doctor said, you got chronic bronchitis, and I said, okay, chronic bronchitis, and it said COPD. So I really didn't know what COPD, even though I heard it, I didn't pay no attention. So I went back and I asked, I said, what's COPD? You got an issue with mucus in your tubes and your lungs and this and that and blah blah, and you gonna die. I said, so it's something I can get rid of? They said, no, you're gonna die with this. And they kept issuing me these pumps, and I'm like, no, I don't want these pumps, because I didn't want to get stuck on. So I started doing research, and the funny thing is, over here I didn't find any solutions, but I looked up some doctors over Europe and different places, and one of them had the same type elements as I had. And what he was saying was leave the dairy alone, leave this alone, do breathing exercises for your chest and this and that. Then that's when there's somebody else that was showing stuff that helps, like, with your lungs and all this and herbs and different things. But the first problem with a lot of people, when somebody say something to you, we take on the curse that they said to us. Because you start believing in it, believing that there's no way it can be cured. The first thing they get is your head. Once you say, I'm this, I'm that, I got this, I got that, you keep speaking things into existence. And it's been cases where people been diagnosed with something and they didn't even have it because they went later to another doctor when they changed and said, you don't even have this. But because they believed it, their body went through a shift and a change because their mind was taught that they took on the spell and the curse, that they believed in something. Sometimes stop claiming what you got and try to find an alternate way of doing things. That's all we trying to tell you. Everybody who's saying they sick ain't got to be sick. You can cure a lot of these elements they're not telling you that can be cured. All you got to do is learn and research your thing. When you go with one type of person that's always telling you, that's why it says always, when they say touch and agree, you get 2 or 3 witnesses. Well, some of us just go by one witness because we're looking at the degree behind them in a coat. When you got 2 or 3 different witnesses telling you something, then it might stand strong because they all gave you the same examination and things, but you can find an alternate way. Listen to me. Today, you can find an alternate way to change your whole situation. And what we are telling you up here basically is, look, just do research. It's not hard. A lot of us don't want to do research. We just want to listen to what one person say. Oh, I got diabetes. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got cancer. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got asthma for the rest of my... No, you don't have to. You and just try. Just try to fight sometime to do something different. Don't let somebody speak something in your life.
Yeah. And I tell people that because like especially us in the Black community, like we claim stuff like it's our cousins. They say like my diabetes, my gout. I mean, it's like you said, stop claiming that stuff, man. And that's definitely the main thing. You can't even accept that. So, and then they ask not to cut you off, but like something that really, really bothers me. I see people, especially we got people that do make all kind of T-shirts and all that. The main thing you see all the time, or every time somebody dies, you see on Facebook, hashtag F cancer,
yes.
F diabetes. Yes. It bothers me because I'm like, you say all this stuff, but you ain't taking no kind of preventive measure. Like that really bothers me. You saying F diabetes, but every time I see you got a honey bun, you got something sweet. Like, no, you gotta fix all of those issues before. And so that slogan just bothered me from the beginning. Like you saying F all these things. No, like cut out all of that, all them bad habits. Stop claiming these things.
Yeah. And let me just say this. Stop saying that diabetes runs in my family. Stop saying that high blood pressure runs in my family. Yeah. Stop saying that. Because these things
it's hereditary. It's
hereditary. In your family. What's hereditary are the habits.
Yeah.
The habits are hereditary because you grew up doing these things. You saw your parent doing these things. But these elements do not run in your family.
No. The lifestyle runs in the family. Y'all, you doing the same thing Granny did and her mama did. That's what runs in the family. The same eating habits.
And I was just going to finish up saying basically, I mean, y'all can share, but what I was saying about my COPD, I had took the test, and when I breathed, I think 1 out of 10, I think I breathed a 3. I couldn't blow. And for years, I kept trying to change. I had learned everything I needed to learn and change certain things in my body. So my breathing got better, real better. So I had went to the doctor again and tried another doctor later, about, I would say 6 years later. And they were like, there's no need to take the test. So I convinced another one. I ain't wasting any time. And I took a test. And then the test came back. I breathed like a 8+ or a 9 or something in that nature. And they're going to say, well, for some crazy reason, you got light asthma, but as it goes on, it's going to get worse. You're going to have to walk around with an oxygen pump or some tank or something. And I said, well, I don't claim that. And I said, I don't use no pumps. I refuse to get my lungs and everything trained on that chemical. So I got to feel like this is a necessary thing I need. And I kept exercising and I don't have no problem breathing. I don't. But if I listen to them, I probably will hit a mess. Yeah, and talking on the podcast with a mess because I let them speak this into my life.
Right.
Stop letting these witches and warlocks, I'm going to call it out what it is. You ain't got to let witches make pills and potions, stir up, taking pill, taking potion. These witches and warlocks, stop it. Stop letting them dictate your life and putting these things on you because no matter what the food industry is doing, no matter what the pharmaceutical industry is doing, they working together. Cause and effect. Get them sick and they can get the medication in the doctor. He loves writing prescriptions. All he's doing is following his dialogue. That is what they are trained to do. They're not going to give you something that's going to stop it. They just want something to keep it going on, to just keep it at bay for a while. That's their hustle. It's no different than me making you come back every week to get dope from me. Yeah, come on back. Yeah, you can need to fix it. Here's another one. It's the same game. It's the same game.
If you look at some of the American Cancer Association sponsors, that will tell you the world. Just look at some of their sponsors. That's it. I just implore you just go on the site and look at some of their sponsors.
Anybody else got anything else to share?
Well, I was just going to add and just say that, my life in itself is an example that you can reverse the progression of disease. I've lived it. I mean, I had a disease. I had an illness. And my intestinal lining was pretty much non-existent. I mean, and just think about that. I mean, I had overgrowth of fungus in my gut. My immune system was jacked up. I mean, everything you could imagine that a person would be dealing with under those circumstances. I mean, I was dealing with that. My blood counts were low, and it was bad. So to be able to come back from that by herbal supplements, and I'm going to throw that out because that's exactly what my doctor used to help heal me, in addition to me doing, executing some things on my own, which I think is key, which is where we fall short because we generally shift the responsibility of our health to doctors instead of thinking that there are some things that we can do on our own to help heal our bodies. I did yoga, did meditation. I mean, there were a lot of things that I incorporated to try to help heal my body because it's about mind too. It's about your mind too, and getting that in a place where you feel you even have the willpower to withstand something like that, because people go into these doctors all the time and getting these diagnoses. I think a lot of times they walk away feeling defeated. Just think about the person who was diagnosed with high blood pressure last year, and this year you being diagnosed with arthritis. So now I got two things I got to try to navigate. How am I going to do that? You know what? Forget it. I'm just going to keep living the way that I was. That's just easier for me because it just becomes confusing to people, and they walk out feeling that way. I've talked to people who literally walk out feeling defeated. Like, okay, I don't even know, because the doctors aren't really giving them information on how to really tackle what they're dealing with. And then even if the doctors do suggest things, it may be, okay, you need to eat this, you need to eat this, but then you're telling me I have high blood pressure, so I need to limit my salt intake, etc. But now you're telling me I have arthritis, so I need to work on an anti-inflammatory diet. Okay, but how does all of that align? How can I make all of that work together? And people just get burdened with all the information, and I think they just get confused, and it becomes increasingly difficult for them to make those changes. And I think that's why they stay stuck in that cycle of illness and prescription drugs, because that just seems like the easiest thing to do. It's not fixing the issue, but in my mind, it's at least helping do something, whatever that is. It may help get rid of one thing, but then, a year later, you may end up with something else, and you don't even realize that it's the side effects or from, the prescription drugs that you were taking. And it's just a cycle that we're all caught up in. I mean, when I look around and just having conversations with different people, and I'm just like, gosh, it's so many people that are sick.
Yeah.
It's so many people. I know more sick people than I know people who are well.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
that's
just
that,
being
but
real.
that's true. Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
just
That's true.
being like, I know more sick people than I know people who are well. And that is a problem.
Yeah.
That's concerning for me. I'm like, okay, I know like my husband and I, what we do, the things that we practice to be healthy, but I'm like, I want everybody to be healthy. I want
Right.
everybody I interact with to be healthy. I
Right.
don't want to be the only healthy person on earth. You
Right.
know, you want other people to enjoy their lives too. So it's just, it's going to take a lot, you know, to
Yeah.
get people to change that mindset, because so many people are dependent on their doctors. And it's
Yeah.
like, gosh, you see the connection. Like every time you go, you're being diagnosed with a disease based on a set of symptoms. And I don't know if you all know this, but doctors have they have what they call a Merck manual. So basically, when you go into the doctor's office, I don't think it's like paperback now. I think like it's all digital now. But you go into the doctor's office, you go in with these set of symptoms, and they go in their little Merck manual and they look to say, okay, here are the symptoms. Okay, this is the pretty much the diagnosis aligned to those symptoms. And these are the prescription drugs they need to take based on this diagnosis. That's
Yep.
how they treat you.
Yeah. Yeah. They
But see,
paid
that's
to
the
treat
dialogue they
symptoms.
follow. It's not,
Right.
it's
That's what
just
you
a
get.
dialogue. And what you're saying, I want people to understand that your body is a healing organ. You
Absolutely.
can heal any. I mean, it's crazy that you see you cut yourself and you can put some Neosporin on it in a bandage and it heals. What's going on inside heals too. Once you understand, you can cut yourself and put Neosporin on it because you know that's good for that cut and it heals. Your inside heal too. You just got to do the right things to help heal it. Your body wants to heal itself, but as long as you keep doing something, because some of the things they're telling you to do is hurting your body worse than helping you.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna call out certain things, but certain things doctors tell you to do is hurting your body worse than helping you. So it's
Yeah.
like, just like I say, your body's a healing organism. That's what you need to know.
It is. It
Yeah.
definitely is. You just need to give it half of what it needs to help it get to where it needs to be. I mean,
All right, because we got to get ready to wrap this show up. The Shine Man got that look on his face as always, but but I just want to say one more thing. Can you recommend some sources like books, documentaries, or information for people to help them look up if they are interested in learning more? Can any one of y'all give some good information, or a book, a documentary, or source who they can read?
Um, I know one of my favorite books is Education Over Medication by Dr. Bobby Price. That's a masterpiece. I still go back to that book sometimes because he break down everything, like the USDA, the FDA, like he was a pharmacist, like he gave all that up because it just bothered him to keep giving these people prescriptions every week. And then he started juicing and things like that. He was going through issues, and they seen a lot of those old patients and stuff. They seen how it was helping him and how he lost weight and all that. And they started doing a lot of the same things. But man, he touched everything with that. It tells you why you're addicted to cheese and milk and dairy products and all that. Why you addicted to meat? Everything that we talked about, a lot of it pretty much is in there. But I recommend that. I recommend the miracle, the Detox Miracle source book by Robert Morris. That's the gentleman always talking about the lymphatic system, because that's really like your real immune system. So definitely those two books definitely do it for me. But there's a ton of information, but that's two of my favorites.
All right, Sonia, you got any information?
yeah, I was writing some stuff down as Dion was talking, but I have a few things. So one of the books that I reference a lot and that kind of helped me, it's called Never Be Sick Again. Um, Very good resource. It could be overwhelming because it's a lot of information in it. But if you take it in stages, you know, it could be very helpful for you. Another two documentaries that I really think are good. One is called Escape Fire, the fight to rescue the American healthcare. to rescue American healthcare. It's deep because it really takes a look into the world of the what I call the flawed American healthcare system. So it gives you some good information. So that's another way to just kind of bring some more education into this. Also, it's a documentary I've watched. It's called Heal. And I know Chris spoke to this. It really focuses on like how your thoughts, emotions, and your beliefs impact your health. And then a book that I've been reading recently, African Holistic Health. That's a
yeah.
Yeah,
That one by,
Dion.
is that the one by Layla Africa?
Layla,
Yeah,
yes.
Dion
Okay.
got that. Yeah, I think I got that too.
Yeah, that's a good book. That's a good book. So yeah,
Okay.
those are my suggestions.
All right, because we can ready to wrap this up, and I always want to give shout out to some people I watch videos. You know, Yaki Awakening. He's good with good information and telling certain people. You also got, like he said, Robin Morris is another one. You can still look at Dr. Sabi or Layla Africa's. And what's that girl, Dion, you like sometimes, Crystal?
Crystal Alkaline Doula. Yeah, she's definitely.
So it's a couple of people that you can go watch their YouTube videos, and they got some good information on telling you to help out. But I'm going to let my brother go ahead and close it. This has been a wonderful show. Great information, a lot of knowledge, you know. And like I say, do some research. We all up here just want people to live a lot longer, to be a lot healthy. I don't want to see you hurt. I don't want to see you sick. I don't want to see you lose a limb. I don't want to see you hacking off a chest part of you, because it's alternate ways you could try first to heal your body. Your body is a healing organism. Understand that. Just same way you get a cut, you can put some Neosporin on and it heals. Your body is a healing organism. Dion, and we're going to ask my sister-in-law, Sonia Jones, to go ahead and drop their information to their website. Right. I mean, the information to their web or their business. Go ahead.
Okay. So on Instagram, you can follow me at tip.tophealth. And then I also have a website, and it's www.tip-top-health.com.
All right. And you can follow me on Facebook, Restore Your Health, LLC. And like I said, you can email me at restoreyourhealthllc@gmail.com.
One thing.
Go ahead, Durgan. Let's close the show.
This has been You Are What You Eat Part 2. I want y'all all to know that in order to change, you must first change your mindset. With that being said, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Get established.
This has been another episode of the Get Established Show. Today's topic was You Are What You Eat Part 2. We had some special guests in the room, Miss Sonia Jones, Mr. Dion Boone. We want to thank you guys for being with us and enlightening us on what was going on with our health. And we hope to continue to see you guys maybe in the future with more information. So don't forget, like this channel with the big thumb. Also subscribe and hit the bell notification. The bell notification lets you know when we drop a video. But also, until next time, we're here serving you guys and just trying to make the community a little better. So we want to thank you for being with us this week. And again, I am Big for the Get Established Show. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
People really don't believe that they got parasites in them. I done had. She done froze again. Your wife froze again, Dirk.
What now?
Your wife froze. Oh, she
good.
What I'm saying is, it's people that don't believe that, man. They got dogs and they see that dogs might have worms in them, but people don't believe they got parasites and worms. They, no matter how much pork or beef they eat, I ain't got no worms. I ain't got no I mean, I hear this all the time.
That's mind blowing to me.
Okay. I swear, it's man. Just the way she said, everybody's seeing this sick. Everybody's in the now on this parasite and worm type. I promise you.
Hey, babe, say something.
Huh?
She good.
Oh, okay.
She good.
Oh, yeah. I was saying that people don't believe it because they don't see it.
Yeah. But you know what? That's what me and Chris was talking about. Like a lot of people that like most person, like they use the bathroom, they don't even look in the toilet. So they wouldn't see it. Yeah, they wouldn't see nothing no way.
See it anyway.